From Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, this is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, keenly awaited, highly anticipated edition of the Trading Floor with your humble host, Angie Barbosa and Jeremy Alexander Newsom with a daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, live life, and trade it. How you guys doing? Man, I had some good music for the break. That was The Darkness. I believe in a thing called love. That sounded like a radio DJ. Coming back into the 2 o'clock hour, Nashville, Tennessee. That's The Darkness, thing called love. Coming up next. But first, these commercials. Good day in the market, ladies and gentlemen. Good day. One candle changes everything, right? Let's hop over to SPY. So SPY on the daily chart, it was yesterday, which was Friday in my mind, was looking like it was going to be a little bit more bullish than bearish. We had a trigger intraday of 204.96, which did not trigger. I had to stop and have some protective puts, which I didn't get triggered into a long position on SPY. So at the moment, I think we can get rid of some of that analysis. I'll put if we trigger above here, probably hopefully tomorrow or this week, I can still get on the bandwagon of being bullish. Volume is a little low today on the black candle. So again, I don't think this is a cataclysmic, just free fall. This is a very interesting pattern, however, and the fact that we did make a lower low and a lower high, and we fill the gap, it is interesting to me. My thought is we really could get something like this for the rest of January. I guess in the date spectrum, if you will, we're right about here, which is a pretty bearish day. So I'm kind of expecting 2 or 3 bullish days to come out of this. Nothing magical. Maybe even some sideways movement, and then earnings season could bring us low. And again, right about here, once we start making a lower low, I think that's when some of the bullish traders, some of the bearish traders who are hoping to get a bear move, they're going to hop back on to SPY for the bearish move. I think that'll be right about the time that we need to start buying it, right when a lot of people start going bearish. Now, we'll see how the candles look. That's just kind of my interpretation of the market right now. It's been very, very whipsawy, and we're going to be keeping a bullish perspective until something changes on the general market. So that's my thoughts. My thoughts on the SPYs, the Qs. QQQ. We have a good old resistance, new support in this location. We got some lower highs. Let's see how and if we do trade sideways and then potentially break up, maybe into March, if that happens. But again, I'll be keeping a very, very close eye if we break bearish below this support. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm not saying it can't happen. If it does, though, I'll still be looking to go bullish, just not, right away. We might take some bearish trades for sure. If we close below here, let's see how these candles look before it happens. So if we do get a retest and a rollover, we could play some of this action bearish, and then we'll just probably go bullish down here again on the bounce. So I still think the market's bullish. Primary trend, it's nothing to really suggest that there's going to be a reversal as far as a primary trend reversal is concerned. There's a very, very good chance 2015 might look a lot like 2014, where we get, a little bit of a bearish move into, January. We get some bullish moves coming in February, March, April, yada, yada, yada. We get some rollovers, then we get some continuation. I mean, that's totally plausible. Will it happen? I don't know. We shall see. But I still have a little bit of a bullish perspective. Again, the trigger intraday did not trigger from Friday. However, the protective put, the location I said I would have bought some protective puts, did get hit. So if you're in some puts, I could see that. I could get behind that thought process. But I'll move it to an intraday trigger, 17785. And potentially we can move a stop up to here just in case it triggers tomorrow. And I think we'll bracket trade this candle, kind of see how it plays out, what happens. It's very, very, it's getting a little frumpy. Higher lows, kind of relative highs, and we might just kind of whipsaw back and forth, especially coming into earnings season. So it'll be really, really fun in the morning. There was a lot of very interesting trades today. Just to look at a few of them. really quickly. SanDisk. SanDisk was gorgeous. So retest gap. Me and Prasad were talking about this entry earlier today. Entry, stop, target. And it's a decent trade, but it was a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio, kind of at best. So we didn't end up taking that specific trade, but obviously you can see that SanDisk, just a beautiful, beautiful retest. Here's retest number 1. Here's retest number 2. Here's retest number 3. And all of those potential retests and rollovers added some money to your pocketbook, I believe. Tiffany's, very similar. So Tiffany's is actually up for retest of the year. Tiffany's just beautiful sideways movement for about 30 to 40 minutes, and it traded right into your exponential moving averages. Just so slightly traded into the moving average right there in the 10, and just went cataclysmically bearish for, realistically, I think a few traders locked in a few R's at that location. And if you did, very proud of you, honestly. I think that was a really, really good move. And on Tiffany's, right before the break, I was mentioning if you want a nice little aggressive entry on Tiffany's, just got stopped out if you did take it, but it was a bearish entry here, stop above the wick. It looked pretty decent on the 15-minute chart. There's the 15. And right now in Tiffany's, if you're still in, I think your stop is probably going to be very, very close to the 10 exponential moving average, but I think most people are out of Tiffany's. It was a morning day trade. You know, there was the retest, there was the free fall, there was the money to be made. And right now we're just kind of chilling out and hanging out on Tiffany's. So the only real trade that we had a good entry on today was American Airlines. And Brad Reed, I think, has been in and out of this guy once or twice. Back here was really the best entry. This is the 15-minute chart on American Airlines. Let me go to the daily really quick on it. So American Airlines, really, really pretty retest gap on American Airlines. Here's your 5-minute chart. Here's the trade up. Here's as it begins to roll over. So here's move number 1. You could have carved out a little bit of profit. You know, move number 2. That's the trade that most of us are in or got triggered into, at least on American Airlines. And so I think at this point, on a 15-minute chart, I think it's okay to move our stop down to approximately 50.01 if you're still in that trade. 50.01, because it does look like we're potentially getting a little bit of Morningstar reversal pattern near the target, which was the low of the day on American Airlines. And really, Apple was another phenomenal mover earlier today. Good double top on the hourly. And we have really closed below that neckline on this candle. Retested it right here and just kind of fell. And fell nice. So I am in my protective put position on Apple. We have moved quite nicely. We haven't triggered the stop yet. This is a stop. This is to get out of my long position on Apple and probably add to my bearish position as well. So we have an evening star reversal. Let's come in and see how Apple looks tomorrow. Here's your evening star. If we do gap down tomorrow, it will be a retest gap. And I'll be looking to exit my long position. I am still in shares. I got into a 114 covered call today, just in case we bounce bullish tomorrow. And again, if we don't, that's what the stop is for. And I will literally kind of wash and rinse and repeat exactly what I did back here, where I got into a covered call. I held my protective puts. I exited my long position. My naked call expired worthless. And my protective put ensured my loss. And I came out clean on the other side. Will that be the case? I don't know. But I can say that this is not the most bullish pattern. Not the most bullish pattern in the world on Apple. Earnings is the end of January. So if we trigger this and pull into this support, and if and when we bounce down there, it'd be very, very interesting to see. So I was mentioning to a lot of students, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow a little bit more in Tech Giant Tuesday. There are a lot of stocks at a very strong pivotal support coming into Priceline, Netflix, Apple not so much, Facebook a little bit, Alibaba is as well. So there's a very, very interesting support level on a lot of stocks. And I'll be interested to see if we do break it, because if we do, I'm all for going bearish. The market needs a correction. I'm okay if it happens. If it doesn't, no big deal. But if it does, I'm cool with that. And earnings might be the catalyst for that. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what happens. So we'll be looking a lot more techs on the third hour tomorrow. But today is Merchant Monday. So for Merchant Monday, let's go look at a few merchants' stocks. So retail, something like that. Let's go look at Whole Foods. Whole Foods still continuing higher for those. John Higgins, are you still in this position? I know you're in it for a while. I didn't know your ultimate target on this guy. But very, very interesting candles. Kind of bearish as the market is today. You know, we did kind of get the breakout a little bit, but there's absolutely some retest action going on. And on Whole Foods, if this is your confirmation candle to either get in bullish or add to your bullish position or move up your stop, I like it. I mean, it's a very, very nice, healthy candle. So let's go find some potential targets on Whole Foods. And this is a pretty decent one at about $53. And I think the next one would probably be at this peak up here at approximately $56.39. That might happen before earnings. We get all the way up to $56.39. But if you are in, I could see a bullish entry being above the close of the day. So that means you would be getting in towards the end of the day. Stop will be below these wicks at approximately 48 and some change. And yeah, 52.98 will be a target. 56.39 will be a target. I am more bullish than bearish on Whole Foods. Kind of have been since this gap right here. This is pretty wave rotation. Off the moving averages worked well for put sales, bull put spread. You know, if you're in shares, you've been doing some covered calls potentially. It looks nice. There's only one Whole Foods in Nashville. I go there probably once a week. I don't go to Whole Foods specifically, but I do enjoy their buffet. I like the buffet. They have a buffet, and they actually have a restaurant and back as well that makes good hamburgers. And good fries, now that you mention it. I'm hungry. I think I'm just hungry in general. So yeah, that breakout was really just towards recent movement. On the 5-minute chart, really big triangle, and just started kind of breaking out bullish towards the end of the day on Whole Foods. So really interesting little move. Walmart. So Marsha, you said that on Walmart you exited some of your position. I think you and your husband Ralph have a few shares, and you're locking in some profit at 90. I think that's pretty decent. I mean, 90 is a really, really good target. I know your next target, I think you said something about 97, and I would probably hold that. This looks like a gorgeous pennant, and I mentioned having a protective put if we do continue lower just to lock in some profit, Marsha. Having a put around 88.95 in case we do slightly roll over a little bit as a protection. But at this particular point in time, good volume, nice pennant pattern. You know, we had buy the bounce type of analysis. You know, here's the new white soldier. Here's your double bottom type of pattern. There's the close above the neckline. There's the retest. And so that was kind of our analysis to get in bullish. And since then, we're starting to mitigate our risk and just kind of moving up our stop. So if you got a chance to do the put sale worked out just great on Walmart. And it has bounced at this particular point in time. So maybe drop a fib on it really quick. Maybe I should drop a fib. Here, oops. Don't know what that one is. I do know what it is, but not what I want to look at. That was a fib time. Time fib. Oh boy. Okay. Put it right about there. And let's just put the 50 in that gap right there. Oh, very nice. Very good. So 94.94, probably the ultimate target on this little wave. Didn't quite trade down to the 382, but you got a little bit of a double bottom right there. Might actually be a smidge higher. No, I think that's really about it. Maybe the low of this wick. It might be the low. It's very, very close. But yeah, 94, 94, 95, 49. Somewhere right around there would be a good target to take some profit off the table on Walmart's. Let's go look at Jessupa. JCPenney's. We're here because you still need clothes. That's their new slogan. End of day triggered 8:12. I don't know if we'll reach that yet. Here's the hourly chart on JCPenney. We have 30 minutes for it to see if we close above 8:12. So I might come back to that one. Yeah, I'll come back to JCPenney. We'll see if we close above there. The hourly does look pretty decent. We did get a gap up, a little bit of a gap up today. And if we don't get a close above there, we'll see if we get a close above, we'll move it up. So we'll come back and look at that one just a little bit. Let's go look at Walgreens. Walgreens. Is that really the last candle in Walgreens? Oh, I was like, no, it can't be the last candle. Because I was expecting this exact pattern to happen. What happened to Walgreens? Did they stop trading on the U.S. market? Last candle I have for Walgreens is on the 30th. Let me go see if this is doing this for every stock. No. Rite Aid approaching our target of 806. The logo changed. The ticker changed on Walgreens? Where in the world have I been? If you're still in on this Rite Aid trade, I would take our stop and move it to 715 to break even at this particular point in time. 806 would still be a target of mine. What's the new ticker for Walgreens? New ticker for Walgreens. How in the world did that one change without us knowing it? What? Walgreens closes. Alliance Boots deal. Stock. Give me 1 second. How did this get off our radar? Walgreens completed its purchase of European health and beauty retailer Alliance Boots, and on the final day of 2014, the combined company stock will begin trading on the ticker WBA. The nation's largest drugstore chain said Wednesday that shares blah, blah, blah. The deal completion comes a couple of days after Walgreens shareholders voted in favor of the acquisition. Walgreens bought a 45% stake in Alliance Boots, which runs the United Kingdom's largest pharmacy chain. Alliance Boots? What kind of a name is that for a pharmacy chain? Who comes up with names these days? Prasad said it's not a shoe company. I checked. Alliance Boots? Niels. Oh yeah, didn't they merge with a British company to avoid paying US taxes? Apparently they did. Alliance Boots. There's a merger of Alliance Boots. WAB, new symbol. Wabtec Corporation, eh? Fascinating. Okay. Well, look at us. Just learned something new. Prasad says their next merger will be Her Highness Hats. Yeah, seriously. Hey, I want some boots, eh? Oh, actually, I was looking for some cold medicine. Yeah, sorry, chap. We sell boots here. We are Alliance Boots. We're not a pharmacy. Sorry. I could just entertain myself for days. I think you guys know that by now. You're fully aware. What a nice little trend line, that one. Nice trend line there, are we? My question, why does my voice get higher when I try to do a British accent? That's always one of my weaknesses with accents. My voice always goes an octave or two higher. Okay, Walgreens is now WAB, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, didn't know that. Let's close below 82.94. I'll be a smidge more bearish than bullish on Wabtec Corporations. Huh. Interesting. Well, there we go. That's how you learn that. Speaking of retailers, Tiffany's is a retailer. Merchant. It's a merchant of sorts. It's one that I run away from as much as I can. Oh no, Tiffany's! Just start just sprinting. Really, really interesting gap down. Pat asked earlier where a good place to go long would be. 85.62 is without question a pretty decent support. There's a lot of people trapped on this gap. Beautiful retest gap on Tiffany's. The hourly chart looks like we might tramps up a smidge higher. Let's go to the daily. It's just a really, really pretty retest gap. I could see something like this happening, and then this. Retest gap for the swing trade. So that says to me that if we do pull down into this level, Pat, we start bouncing nicely. I mean, you know, we are anticipating a retest, so we might be able to carve out a little bit of bullish profits potential in the bounce, and then we'll see if it does roll over. Higgins said, similar to the last Netflix earnings gap. Yeah. Yep. Huh. All right, cool. Pretty nice little gap. That was a good play for those of you guys who got a chance to take it. And there were a few of you, so good job. Very, very good job. Any other merchants that you guys want to look at? I'll look at Wells Fargo and JCPenney after 2:45 to see if we close down there. Pat wants to look at Home Depot. You got it. Home Depot did finally make it to our 106.42. I was a little concerned when we didn't. Off by a penny or two right there. Pulled back, then bounced. Here's a beautiful gap on Home Depot just the other day. Got a continuation, and now we're pulling back just a little bit. I can agree with this. Bullish trend by the bounce near the 100 simple moving average. Here's the 100. And I'd like to see it pull back to that location. I think it very well might be doing that now. We trade to a very, very good fib target. 106.42, very decent little fib target at that location. Good fib. Is this a wick that's on your guys' chart? Hey, you guys is. Ford says, yep. Oh, interesting. Pat says, what is the pullback and bounce off of 99.58? This one? That was just one of the first pullbacks. You got your new white soldier right there. Are you asking like what wave was that or what? So that traded up to the 618, retraced and bounced. Oh, you want to know the numbers? Yeah, if we pull back on this specific location, I don't really have an amazing wave count on Home Depot. If anything, this is a 1, 2, 3. I would imagine, I would argue this is some type of wave 3. And in which case, we'll probably pull back at least a little bit. Maybe not to the 100. Maybe back to 99.28. But I think a small pullback is coming. Pat says, I agree on the wave 3. All right, cool. So, yeah, we're in a strong bullish move. It moved nicely. I don't have any 2015 goals to buy a house. I think my next home is going to be 2016 because in 2014 I had to determine, all right, business or house. It was kind of like a 50-50. Do I do a new business or do I do a new house? I want business. So I'll be sharing some of my 2015 goals with you, but buying a house is not one of them. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it'd be interesting. Pat says they're forecasting another drop in housing. And if that was the case, that would be a phenomenal, because this is already a good time to buy. That'd be a phenomenal time to buy housing if it drops again. I could see that coming, Pat, if equities got a big pullback. Let's go look at real estate really quick. Reality Income. This is a real estate investment transaction trust. Not transaction trust, real estate investment trust. I think if equities drop nicely, even just a little, it doesn't have to be massive. Just a good old-fashioned pullback. Just a nice, and then back to the races. That would give us a lot of good opportunities to buy a few things. If we pull back to the all-time high, to the highs and bounced, it doesn't have to happen because we have had some decent corrections. I mean, this was an okay correction, but it would just be healthy for the market to have a 10 to 20%. Well, let's just say 20 to 30% retracement. That would be very healthy. If that happened, there'd be a lot of good things to buy right there. A lot of good opportunities. And I think housing would probably be one of them. And so since I'm now self-employed, you have to have 2 years of tax returns. So I did it at a good time because I'm going to file in 2015 and I'm going to file right at the 2016. That's 2 years of tax returns. So right kind of at the beginning of 2016. So I only have to wait like a year. I think I would be able to do a house. So, anyway, I'm still keeping. I just like housing. I just like houses. Pat says France is on the verge of a collapse. The mess over there may start a problem here. There's a lot going on internationally, that is for sure. We'll see it coming if it happens. At least I would imagine. We would see some setups. We will be ready. Until then, I think we just keep doing what we're doing. Speaking of Home Depots and homes and stuff, let's go look at Lowe's. Lowe's has breached our 2618 barely. Imagine some type of wave 3. Wave 3. Wave 3. Expect a pullback. Wave 4 soon. Yeah, this will be the wave. Wave 3, in my opinion, Lowe's. Just such a bullish move. Look at that. Ugh. I mean, at least a pullback to the 50. And then a bounce off of that. So that's Lowe's. We got Rite Aid done. Walgreens, we learned that stuff. Looked at Walmart, JCPenney I'll look at in a little bit. Let's go look at Target. Target Corporation, this worked out to be a very, very nice little pennant pattern. Continued, nice little, stalemate. broke out, retested. Gorgeous, really, really, really pretty gap and candle on target. This is the all-time high for target. So I say let's go find ourselves a target for target. Well, let's at least see where we would trade to. This is some kind of something in here. That's some technical, man, that is, wow. Don't get too specific, Jeremy. Some kind of something. Let's not get too specific. We don't want to upset anyone. I maybe want to move this a little bit up. Give me a moment. I like that a tad better with the 50% being in the gap and the 618 or trading to the 1382. I think this is a flag pattern. Oh, I just said that. Flag pattern. If we make higher high, higher low, trend is bullish. Well, here was the flag that I was referring to. We did make a higher high, higher low. Beautiful gap just a few days ago. So I would move this over and still say flag pattern. If we make a higher high, higher low, trend is bullish. Ultimate target. Well, next really good target would be 80.40. And then from there, 84.71. Mr. Dave Cooper. He says, any thoughts on Verizon? Yeah, let's check out Verizon. Verizon, I'm going to take the moving averages off since we're very sideways. And I do kind of like, I like the candle. All right, have a lower highs on Verizon. This is a strong gap. Made some nice little money on that gap. I don't think that we should just cataclysmically storm that bullish. I don't think that happens. It could. I don't think it does. But if that's the case, let's draw some lines on Verizon. Some really good 45.78 support action coming in. This is kind of a support zone. Good place to buy it. I mean, Verizon is a little bit more of a longer term blue chip type of investment, value stock, if you will. And it is low. It is at that support. Some pretty decent resistance around the 51.48 region on Verizon. Dave, with this candle that we received Thursday, we got a nice white candle opened and closed with the prior black candle closed. I imagine some people probably went bearish right there because it closed below that high wave candle. We made a lower low, kind of rolling over. I think some people probably went bearish. So I think that we're probably going to scoot up a little bit, probably back up to this resistance level, 48 and some change. Earnings is going to be just in a week and a half or so. So that'll be really interesting to see how that works out. If Verizon opens at 51, again on earnings, that'll be a great place to lock in some profit, in my opinion. Some a really good place to sell. Does that help, Mr. Cooper? Otherwise, Verizon's just kind of painstakingly sideways. Kind of the buy low so high, this is the low, this is the high type of area. I can imagine it slowly, methodically going just a tad higher, though. Bat said KBH reports after the bell. And yep, I'll look at Alcoa. So I'll sneak back. I'll sneak back over to Alcoa, and I'll look at KBH also. Anything else reporting between now and tomorrow that you guys want to take a sneak peek at? I believe earnings season officially starts today at close with Alcoa. My girlfriend's awesome. She's texting me about, she texted me, are we going swing dancing tonight? A few hours ago. I was like, yeah, we'll probably do that. And so right before the break, I did a poll to find out what you guys wanted me to do. Either go swing dancing or go do comedy or play poker or do something else. Majority of you said go swing dancing. Tonight is the national championship of college football, though. So she just texted me, or we could go somewhere and watch the national championship. Keep her. Keeping her. I might find a way to do both. I would like Marcus Mariota to pull this one out. Oregon deserves a national championship win much more than Urban Meyer and Ohio State. I think Ohio State wins. That's just... I know Johnny Guarks. Don't beat me up, man. That's a tough team. But with their quarterback situation, I could easily see Oregon pulling it out. And the way Oregon just destroyed Florida State, even though it was time for Florida State to lose... The wins that they did win, they were too close anyway. And Jameis Winston just needed a loss. He didn't lose since like 2009, so he just needed a loss. It was just coming. It was mathematically bound to happen. So, Florida State losing the way they did, I wouldn't put that much emphasis on it, but I think I'm going to call a final score. Okay, here's what I want to happen. Here's what I think happens. I think Ohio State wins it pretty handily. 38-24. That's what I think happens. What I want to happen is I want Ohio State to put on a clinic, 49, and I want Ohio State to get about 28. So you guys can see that's kind of my thoughts. Johnny said Marcus is playing for the team, not himself. Yeah, very true. He is a class act, man, that guy. He's a solid A+. He's an A+. Anyway, that's my predictions for the college football. Great football this weekend. We're talking about that before the break. Some good football. All right, so just two stocks gapping then. Did you guys want to look at for tomorrow? Okay. Well, here's Alcoa. Here's kind of our thought. A retest, so if it gaps up, I still think it's a retest gap. Let's see. Yeah, so right now we're kind of getting a white indecision candle for today. It's absolutely without question trapping some people. A gap up is my favorite. A gap down, I still think is Yawnsville, especially if a gap, in the $15 range. I think if it has a 1.5 on it, it's not going to be the greatest gap in the world. Just kind of my thought. I like this resistance right here. If it clears this pivot, I would like a bullish gap. Interesting to see how that plays out. Pat says, if you want an idea, real estate idea, find a developer and locate some tiny lots on which the developer can build tiny houses. They are a fad that is taking off and provide affordable housing in an unaffordable economy. Interesting. Angie said, I've been reading about this trend. Tell me about this trend, Angie. How big are these houses? Like 1,500 square feet, or are we talking smaller?
They are. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, we're talking like $250, the ultimate in minimalist living.
Wow.
And
how much is a 500
even
square
better
foot
are
house?
the ones that are actually built on a trailer so that people can hook them up behind their trucks and pull them. Yeah. I don't know. It varies. I've seen a lot of articles on people that have built them themselves.
Wow.
And
Cheryl said she saw them on HGTV.
Top of my head, I can't remember.
Oh, jeez.
But just go Google
Cheryl
tiny
said she saw
houses
them on
and you'll see
HGTV,
all
and
sorts
Higgins
of
is saying
examples
there's a show
and
on it on Netflix, maybe.
amazing ideas. You definitely. You what? Yeah. And I've read recently about they're putting them in a community in, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I can't remember if
absolutely.
it's Utah or Oregon, but governments are putting them up and having letting homeless people live in them.
Wow.
And then it's helping them get back on their feet again and
I would have done that in
actually
college.
get out and get jobs, and then they can actually turn around and start
That's amazing.
paying for the tiny house that they're living in. So it's proving to be really beneficial for their
Oh
economy.
yeah, you're sacrificing. You're sacrificing.
Yeah.
I am a space
Well, you
guy,
have to
though.
be
I mean,
willing to
you know,
truly
I'm blessed and
purge a
privileged
lot
even
of
I
your
don't have a home of any kind,
crap.
of any magnitude, but
definitely.
I am without question a space dude. Like I've got to have, you know, I could live. I mean, I can sleep on dirt. I'm not saying that I'm too high class for any, and I never will be that way. But if I have, I'll just put it this way: if I have a house, I'm staying somewhere, and it's mine that I have a specific choice of what to do with it, it's got to be big, like NBA player big. You know. That's fascinating.
Well, they're not for everyone. They're definitely not for everyone. But like Dan says, they're a lot like living in a boat or in a camping trailer. And
okay,
a lot of people like it.
Well, I think that's fascinating. I would do it for a camp, like for a nice, yeah, for camping, like pulling it. That'd be fun. Because you're talking about real estate. KB Homes is reporting after the bell. So let's do some analysis on KB Homes. What is this, Angie? Is this a real estate company? Oh.
Well, you know what? I'm going to Google them because I used to work for Kaufman and Broad Homes, and I think they may have turned into KB Home.
That's cool.
They were big. They were big in California.
Lending.
I was on their lending division.
Modesto. That's a cool
I
name.
worked on a bunch of subdivisions in Modesto and Stockton and Lodi. They were killing it.
It is? Oh, not. Nope. Nope.
Modesto. A cool town, that's for sure. Not. Oh no. Oh no.
Okay, good to know.
I was born and raised there, and I left and said, I don't ever want to come back here. Then I went back and lived there for 8 months. I still don't want to go back there.
18 would really be the best bullish edge. And a gap below 1516. A gap below 1516 would be a nice bearish retest. Alrighty. There we go. KBH Homes. Greg Pierce says virtual stakes. Speaking of virtual stakes, I do like Omaha Steaks. You guys know what that is? You ever heard of that? Omaha Steak Company? Never? Oh, man. Man's paradise. Yeah. Omaha Steaks. Yeah, they're not. I mean, they're not like cheap.
What is that?
But they're
Is
high
that where
quality.
you order your steaks? They send them to you?
High quality. I mean, that I think mail order meat. Craig says eat them all the time. Yummy. Mm-hmm. I might buy one of these soon.
Mail order.
The filet
Mail order
mignon.
meat. Nice.
Cindy said, I know. I'm just. Filet mignon. I want me some filet mignon.
That hurt.
Cindy said, I just got a side of beef, homegrown. Raising, oh, no, I have done that once, and I will be doing that again. I'm just trying to find.
Ouch.
So the guy that I did it was in Florida. I bought a small cow, and me cattle, and raised it. I mean, I didn't personally raise it, but it was on the farm of my buddies, and then we butchered it. I think 3.5 years later, dressed it, and you know you have to pay the butcher. Gosh, down there, what was it? 86 cents a pound. 86 $1.12, something like that. Anyway, I got like 500 pounds of steaks, ribs, ham. Oh, it's incredible. No, I didn't name it. I fed a little corn, a little silage, as we call it in Florida, but it was grass fed.
Oh, yeah.
Majority of it. It walked around on. It was
That's the way to go.
I used to work on a dairy part time on 347 acres. My buddy, he still owns a dairy to this day. He's a dairy farmer. So when he has a property near my house in Florida, so I would go down there and hang out with him all the time. Steven said the problem is you end up with a lot of random cuts like liver. This is true. Anyway. Good. If you're gonna do it, that's a good way to do it. That is for sure. All right, so it's 2:47. Let's look at a few things that are closing. JCPenney is getting close. It looks like it's ticking up to that price kind of as we speak, $8.12. I mean, it's very, very close. So depending on where you have your trigger, you might get triggered in, or might have gotten triggered in. For most intents and purposes, unless something radical changes in the next few minutes, I'm gonna say that people got triggered in. It hasn't technically reached 8.12, but it's close enough. So we'll leave that entry on there, and 751 would kind of be the stop for that entry. And let's go get some targets on Jessica. Probably very close to 10. Earnings is kind of a while away. That's resistance 1, 916, and then the next one's going to be about 10. Right about there where it started faltering last time. 993. So those are going to be some targets for JCPenney. Other one was Wells Fargo. It did trigger. This is a tweezer top. And Cheryl Mall reminded me of that note. Very, very good retest gap today if you got a chance to trade this. So, it did gap down or did continue a little bit. And here's your 15-minute move on Wells Fargo. Just a really nice failure, trade up, retest. Carving out some potential profits around that general price range. Looks really good on Wells Fargo. So at the moment, it did close below our end of day trigger. So if you got in bearish, I understand it. I can see it. Otherwise, based on that tweezer top, if we're not in and you want to get a close, I think I'm gonna get this fib off for the moment. If we want to get a close below 51.50 for a little bit longer term of a swing trade, I would love it if we trade sideways, but earnings, guys, is right around the corner. So I'm hoping that Wells Fargo gaps down. That gives us, so far, the best edge. A gap down to here just kind of clears a lot of pivots, a lot of supports. It'd be a great, great retest gap. So we'll kind of come back today and see what's going on. Arthur Pierce, have a great rest of the day tomorrow. See you tomorrow. So glad I made it today. We're glad to have you, Mr. Pierce. Very, very glad to have you. Thanks for all your help and all of your analysis. So a lot of financials coming out with earnings this week. It's going to be interesting. See how it plays. I mean, Wells Fargo, that looks nice. Let's see what we do. If we close below here tomorrow and then we gap up on earnings, gap up to here somewhere, that's going to be a strong gap bullish, potentially. It's going to, trapping people. Because I'm pretty sure that similar people have a similar setup. So there's Wells Fargo. A lot of other things are going to be gapping. You know, Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs looks kind of similar. FAS doesn't have earnings, but you can see a lot of these financial stocks do look kind of similar. A little similar setup kind of going on there. I haven't looked at Facebook all day. How do we go a whole day without looking at Facebook? Facebook earnings early February. So Facebook, we had a bullish entry off the 100. This best entry for, covered calls, option selling. If we do pull back down to this location and finally bounce off the 200, random thing, but I think that's going to happen, or there's a good chance it's going to happen, that'll be a great place to buy Facebook if we bounce off that location. So I'll be keeping a close eye on Facebook, see if that does indeed play out that way. Again, just as a heads up, since it is a merchant technically, Apple will be very, very interesting tomorrow. It'll be very interesting to see how we play on Apple. Because this is an evening star, so if we gap down, it could be very similar to back here when we had the other evening star, except bigger. So I do plan on keeping a close eye on Apple tomorrow and potentially day trading it, depending on what it does. But I am into some protective options on Apple to protect myself. Protect yourself before you wreck yourself. Yeah. Yeah. That's about it. Any stocks you guys want to look at in the next 8 minutes before market close? Anything specifically? Mr. Sam Rose says, in Oklahoma and Arkansas, you can hunt feral pigs, which are wild pigs year-round. Packers will process from 50 to 75, and you must process all you shoot, but you can shoot as much as you want. Oh, that sounds delightful. Eat as much as you want. That sounds great. The DIA, nice little lower wick today. Kind of. So there's going to be some interesting patterns in here to see how and if that plays out forward. What I'm keeping an eye on is, this is a retest gap, and, we are retesting. So if we get a little bit of a, white candle tomorrow, and then we get a close above 177.85, I will kind of put a little bit more of my bullish hat back on. But it was an intraday trigger Friday. Now I want to wait for a close above that particular price to see how it moves forward. Alibaba looks very interesting. We had a 105.52 bullish intraday trigger that did not trigger. And I think at this point, we're just going to bracket trade this guy. When is earnings on Alibaba? Do we know? Because that'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. $2.2. Okay, so we got some time on Alibaba. But again, this is a very, very strong support line. So I don't know how and if we'll break through that. If we do, might do a little bit what GoPro did. Make a quick move down, retrace, then get kind of funky over here. Because GoPro, that's kind of exactly what it did. Right? Broke that support, broke through it really quick, retested it, and got a little funky back in there. And as today, looks like it might head to our ultimate target of 48.82 potentially. American Airlines, Steven Secker want to look at. American Airlines. Nice retest gap. Earnings is coming up into January. Look for something like this the next 2 or 3 days, maybe a small flag and then a failure. I'd be keeping an eye on it bearish. If you got a chance, you have 5 minutes left in the day. If you got into that particular trade, you're not losing money. You're making money. So probably coming up on a good time to exit. Take a little bit of profit off the table on American Airlines. Our bearish entry was 49.84. Stop was 50.10. Target was low of the day, and we didn't quite make it. So you might have squeaked out an R, which is good. I'm good for an R. R a day keeps the bill collector at bay. So the afternoon trades, they'll be better once earnings season gets here. But Squeaking out an R on American Airlines. Looks nice. I can get behind that. Stan Rutherford, my man, wants to look at BTU. He says, is it finishing or is it going to continue south? Ooh, BTU, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. I wouldn't say try to pick the bottom on this one yet, Stan. But if it closes above this neckline of 721, I will be slightly more bullish than bearish. But I mean, we're really, really trying to pick the bottom on Peabody. Not that it's not some of these stocks, PBR, BTU, they've been getting hammered, and they're definitely buy low, sell high. But we're going to need to get a little bit of reversal signals before we kind of go longer term. But on some of these energy stocks, if you have a larger portfolio and you want to add on to some cheaper positions, BTU is one of those stocks that definitely is in a low location. But 731, if we close above there, I'd be a tad more bullish than bearish. Marshall wants to look at Twitter. So Twitter closed above our bullish trigger the other day, Friday to be specific, for a potential swing trade. So if we're in that swing trade, I think this intraday trigger could also be a stop. This could be a 2 to 3 month trade. This could be a little bit of a retest of the breakout, and then I'm looking and hoping for a white candle tomorrow. So I think at this moment, I would place a protective put below the wick of Friday's candle. If I was in long, so I think we can get rid of this trigger now. That should have triggered. $39, strong, old support, new resistance at the present moment in time. If you did get triggered in intraday a while ago, I think we're still in that trade potentially, so I'll get rid of that as well. So if you're owning Twitter, it's probably a little bit of a longer term trade. That's why I would probably sneak in a protective put just in case it does continue to roll over, Marcia. That way you can at least mitigate risk and kind of protect yourself on Twitter. Tina wants to look at OSTK. Overstock. Haven't looked at Overstock in a while. I've shopped on there once or twice, I think. Support resistance approximately 22.57. Volume is a tad light, so I won't spend too terribly much time on this one. But Tina, if we close above 24 and some change, I would be more bullish than bearish. Stop would probably go 22.33 and some change around there. Yes. Overstock does have earnings pretty soon. Keep an eye on the gap down below 22.50 on earnings as a potential short. And again, volume is a little light, so be wary of that. But if it does gap below there, I'd be more bearish than bullish. That's for sure. Let's go look at the IWM, last but not least for today. And again, looks like we're going to end with a small lower wick, light volume, really not that fanatical. And kind of does appear that we're going to get maybe 1 or 2 white candles tomorrow, and then probably a continuation lower, honestly. And I'll be very excited to see how these candles play out. But I think there's going to be a lot of bears if we break this low hopping into the market. And I think that'll be right about the time where we need to start buying on the market again. Now, obviously, it could be wrong. Things could change. But 2014 began with a little bit of a sell-off and then a bounce. I think we could get another little sell-off and a bounce. We've talked about that before. If it happens and continues to happen, it really would not scare me nor terrify me. So it'll be interesting to play out. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here Wednesday. And then Brad Reed and Angie Barbosa are going to hang down on Transportation Thursday. Farouk, great trades today, man. I think Farouk's up like 9R or something for the day. between American Airlines and a few others. So Farouk, very, very proud of you. Greg Peters, thanks for being here. Colleen, as always, tell the family I said hello, and they rock. Dave Cooper, thanks for being here. Gaston, I appreciate it, man. Ford Schwartz, you rock. Tina, Steven Steckler, Victor Gonzalez, as always. You guys have an amazing time. I'll see you tomorrow, and until then, remember, love life, live life, and trade it. See ya.